Hello and welcome to The Agenda. I'm Stephen Cole. With France getting ready to walk onto the global stage of sporting spotlight, the world is promised a never-seen-before experience. So just what can we expect to see? I speak to the president of Paris 2024 Olympic and Paralympic Games to find out. The 33rd Olympic Games will take place in late July 2024 in Paris. It will be the biggest event ever staged in France. Over 10,000 athletes from 206 nations and regions will come together to compete in 28 traditional sports and 4 new ones, which are breakdance, sport climbing, skateboarding and surfing, all aimed, of course, at a younger demographic. Unlike Tokyo 2020, which didn't have spectators, almost 10 million will enjoy the events in 40 competition sites, and 4 billion viewers will tune in to watch the Games on worldwide television. Having previously hosted in 1900 and 1924, Paris will become only the second city to host the Summer Olympics 3 times, after London 1908, 1948 and 2012. The Games will also mark the centenary of the Paris Games of 1924. It'll be spectacular and sustainable. Landmarks in the city are being transformed into sporting arenas to offer spectators an unparalleled experience and provide an outstanding backdrop for sporting prowess. It also minimises the impact on the environment by reducing the number of new buildings. Only 2 new venues will be built, the Olympic and Paralympic villages. Both projects are set to have a low carbon footprint and will meet the long-term needs of the local area and its population. To halve the emissions arising in relation to the Games, Paris 2024 will use 100% renewable energy during the Games. Other initiatives include the circular economy, sustainable food sourcing, responsible digital technology and clean mobility solutions. The committee is pledging to offset even more CO2 emissions than it will generate, making it the first major sporting event to positively impact the climate. The baton is now in France's hands, and all eyes are on Paris to see how it presents a popular, responsible and inclusive Games. After 2 sets of Olympic Games, summer and winter in Tokyo and Beijing, the sporting world will be looking towards France next for the Rugby World Cup in 2023 and then the Summer Olympics in Paris 2024. The organisers say the Paris event will be the biggest France has ever organised. They hope it'll inspire the next generation of Olympic athletes, but with crowds this time in the stands to hopefully roar them home. To find out what we can look forward to, I'm delighted to welcome Tony Estanguet, President of the Paris 2024 Organising Committee for the Olympic and Paralympic Games, as well as 3-time Olympic champion himself. Tony, first of all, congratulations on France winning the bid. Can you talk me through, firstly, some of the challenges you face in staging an entire Olympic Games?
Hello, everyone, and thank you for the invitation. Organizing the Games, it's in itself a big challenge. So for me, it's a fantastic journey after my career as an athlete to be able to be part of this unique chance to organize the Games in my country is just fantastic. But of course, we will have 869 events to deliver, many competitions. Will be organized during the Games in Paris 2024. And for me, the main challenge every day is to maintain the level of ambition very high. I mean, it's a once in a lifetime, and we believe that France has a great potential to organize a spectacular Games, but also to try to propose a new way to deliver the Games, more responsible model, to cut the carbon footprint by half, or to give more sense in a daily basis, to put more sports in people's life. So this is the level of ambition that on everyday basis we need to develop, despite the difficulty and the challenge to maintain all the stakeholders involved in the delivery of the Games.
On your website, Tony, it says, these games will go down in history. I'm quoting now, the games represent a new adventure that will embark France on an experience unlike anything it has seen before. Now that's quite a build-up, isn't it? And also raises the expectation level to a new high, doesn't it?
Of course, I think there is a big level of expectation around the world with Paris 2024 Games. After the COVID situation, we believe that those games will be a fantastic way to unite the world and to welcome the world again, and France is ready for this. We are still on track, on budget. We are, again, proposing a new way to organize the games. We want to put sports really in the best of the areas of France, of Paris. Can you imagine events at the foot of the Eiffel Tower, on the Champs-Élysées, on the Château de Versailles, on les Invalides. So we will transform the best of Paris, the best of France, into a fantastic field of play for the Olympic and Paralympic Games, because it will be also the first Paralympic Games edition in France. We never organized this event before. So definitely we believe that this is a great momentum for our country. And this is also a big responsibility to propose, again, a new way to deliver the games. More responsible, but also more spectacular by having the bridge really strong between the culture and the sport.
That's the second time you said a more responsible games. That intrigues me. Can you sort of tell us more about what you mean by that?
I think there is a big level of expectation today about what will be the legacy of the games, how such a big event can transform the society and the country. And our strategy was to propose a new model. When we say more responsible, is to limit really the number of infrastructures that we will build, because we will use 95% of existing venues. And we will move from putting our money and energy and budget into the infrastructures to the more intangible legacy. And for us, when we say a more responsible model, is to use the games to really develop the place of sport into the society, to contribute for more health system in France, but also to use sport into the social link during the people's life. And also we have a target about, again, every chapter around the disability and making sure that the Paralympic Games will also help people to change their mind and be more open about a more inclusive society.
That's a tremendous ambition and a very worthwhile one as well. I wonder, you must have gone to Tokyo to see what they were doing. Did you learn anything from those games?
Of course, for us, Tokyo was a big momentum because it's a unique occasion to meet again all the stakeholders that will be involved in Paris 2024. So we took part into an observer program where we could have those relationships with all the parties, the stakeholders really involved in the delivery of the game. So I mean the international federations, all the national or Olympic or Paralympic committees, but also everything related to the production of TV, the media. So my team could really engage with our new model, and we looked carefully how the transport system were organized, everything linked to the athlete village, which is also a small city that you need to operate on a daily basis. So that was really interesting for us. We didn't wait Tokyo to start to work, because my team was also involved in previous games, and we have experts coming from different countries with a big expertise into delivery of competitions. But definitely Tokyo made a great momentum for us, because after Tokyo we received the flag of the games, because we will be the next host.
Nationally, a Rugby World Cup in 2023, and I've already booked my tour for that one. and then the Olympics in 2024. This is a huge double compliment to France, isn't it?
This is fantastic for a country. You know, I'm not really objective in this discussion because the sport changed my life, and I believe that sport can bring a lot into people's life, and that for us this is fantastic that we will continue to host big events of sport. We organized the Football World Cup a few years ago, and we will continue with effectively rugby in 23 and the Olympics and Paralympics in 24. So. This is great. I think this is a good moment also because after the COVID-19 situation, I think more than ever we need those moments of emotion. Power of sport is unique to propose this kind of moment of life, just exceptional. So we work hard to again propose a new model to maintain the best of the game, the best of emotions, but also to give more sense, more purpose in our delivery of the games, to bridge the passion and the purpose of the games.
You mentioned legacy, and legacy always comes at a huge cost. And obviously you're trying to reduce the cost of the legacy of the games. I was in Paris for the bicentennial, and I was reporting from the Champs-Élysées, and Paris looks wonderful when it's dressed up, as you well know. There are some world-famous landmarks in Paris, the Tour Eiffel, the Arc de Triomphe. How will they be used to sell Paris and sell the Games?
Yeah, as you said, I think for us the main assets for Paris 2024 is definitely the city of Paris, and we have the chance to can benefit from those landmarks, just unique and spectacular, to transform the image of the game. So we won't use classic stadiums, or we won't build classic stadiums. We will transform the best of France, the best of Paris into a fantastic field of play of sport. So that's why you will have competitions where you can walk from the Champs-Élysées to the Eiffel Tower or Les Invalides. It's really a compact model.
Got it.
Where you will be proposed fantastic emotions.
The opening ceremony for the Olympics in London in 2012 is widely regarded as one of the best ever, if not the best. So that sets the bar pretty high. What are you going to do for the opening ceremony?
Yeah. You're right to say that the opening ceremony is very important because it's one of the best moments during the games, the most exposed on TV, and definitely we wanted the opening ceremony at the reflect of what is the DNA of Paris 2024. We want to put sport into the city. We want to open the games to more people, a combination of spectacular but not also costly in terms of you need a new infrastructure. So we want to use the River Seine to welcome the athletes from all around the world and to propose a fantastic moment of celebration of the games, crossing Paris from east to west on the River Seine with the bridges, with the Louvre Museum, with le Musée du Quai d'Orsay, with Notre-Dame, with Eiffel Tower. So it will be a fantastic moment of celebration where people will discover Paris, but also where we can have a much more bigger participation because it's about 10 stadiums that will be receive the opportunity to participate into the opening ceremony.
So the River Seine will be the centerpiece. That must have been difficult to get past to persuade security that you could do that.
Of course, this is one of the challenge, like for every games. But again, as you said, we have a good expertise, and we have every year different events into the city. So we are very confident. We have worked a lot over the past year to maintain the level of security very high. There will be no compromise about security for sure. And there is, again, a good expertise in France in this level.
Still to come here on the agenda. It will be France's biggest event yet, but what will it cost? And who'll be paying for it? Mari, what would you say is a good question?
Stephen, I'd say it's one where there's always more than one answer.
The Answers Project is a new podcast series from CGTN Europe. With me, Stephen Cole.
And me, Mari Beveridge. In each episode, we'll take a complex question.
And with the help of some of the world's foremost experts, shine light on some of the answers. So join us for the Answers Project.
Available wherever you get your podcasts.
Events have consequences. Words create impact.
Unprecedented scenes that we saw.
The clean-up operation is now well and truly underway.
Parts of southern Europe remain in a state of emergency.
Context gives meaning. People make history.
Far more than 1,000 people have come here today.
But authorities are still on high alert.
So now we've actually become the border on this road.
A complex world demands a comprehensive view.
But with the cleanup efforts more or less under control,
the economic impact is bound to ripple across the country.
There's plastic pollution everywhere.
Because the world today matters for your world tomorrow.
This is the living area of the crew.
The focus is firmly on future technologies.
Well, this is something completely different.
The world today, every day on CGTN.
Welcome back to the agenda. Still with me is Tony Estanguet. Tony is president of the Paris 2024 Organising Committee for the Olympic and Paralympic Games. 206 nations, correct me on these figures, 28 sports, 306 events, 11,000 athletes. That adds up to what could be an organisational nightmare. Do you think there should be an Olympic medal for logistics? And if so, do you think you'll be in contention?
No, to be honest, when I was an athlete, I didn't realize the complexity of delivering the games. And today, every day, we realize the complexity. But again, there is a fantastic cooperation between the different services from the state, the city, and the federations. We had already been prepared of delivering this kind of complexity. So today we are very confident because at around 900 days before the opening ceremony, we are again still on track with a very high level of ambition, and we have secured 2/3 of our budget, which is a private funded budget. So far so good. And as an athlete, we will continue to fight very, very strongly to make sure that it will be unique and forever, that French people will be proud of what their country has been able to propose to the world, because there is a big desire from the French people to welcome the world also after this pandemic.
Can I also ask you about, you hinted at it earlier, about what these or who these games are directed at. And you want an inclusive, gender-balanced, youth-centred games. How will you achieve that?
Again, it's been part of the objective of having a more responsible model for the games. So for us, it's important that the games, even if they won't solve all the main difficulties of the world, they have to contribute, and it's a participation in terms of ecological transformation. And I think it's important that Paris 2024 contributes to this ecological transformation by having a reduction by half of the carbon footprint compared to London 2012, for instance. But it's also a contribution in terms of inclusion. And as you said, it will be the first games where we will have the same number of athletes, male and women, who will participate. That's the first time, and that's also important. And we set also very high level of standards in terms of inclusion with our volunteer program, because we will have 45,000 people volunteering during the games, and we want also that the inclusion is part of this program because it's also a good way to engage a new way of delivery of the games by having good standards, high standards in terms of inclusion at all levels.
And these games aren't just aimed at a global audience, it's also aimed at a domestic audience, because I take it you want sort of French people to become more involved in athletics and games of all, from swimming to breakdancing, I suppose.
Yeah, you're right to say, and I think it's part of the legacy. Huh? You spoke before about legacy, and for us the legacy is about how more people will be involved into sport, will do more sport. And that's why we launched a program in schools where we had just 2 weeks ago more than 700,000 kids, teenagers participating into this event, doing more sport, being also having the opportunity of meeting athletes. We had 200 athletes, French athletes, going into the different schools to have this kind of moment of exchange and passion. So that's a good way for us to have a concrete legacy and making sure that those kids will have the opportunity to discover the power and the magic of sport. I remember very well when I was a teenager, and at that time I didn't dream about sport. For me, it was not really possible to become a high-level athlete. And thanks to my parents and the fact that I could attend, I remember in Barcelona, because I was living in France, in the south of France, so close to Barcelona, and we could go to an event. And since this moment, I started to dream about the Olympics. And for us, our responsibility is to bring those teenagers and those kids about dreaming about sport. They would not all become high-level athletes, but at least maybe they would like to try the sport. You mentioned breakdancing, and for us this is also a really new idea that we put into the Olympic model, having the connection with the youth. This is a sport really practiced by the young people, and it's a good combination of dance, of music. It's really difficult and very spectacular. So that's why we need to innovate also to bring those young generation into the sport.
Because it is important, because there is a health crisis in France, just as there is elsewhere in Europe. I'm looking at figures that 20% of teenagers, 6 out of 10 adults are overweight. So if you can persuade them to get outdoors and away from screens and maybe develop, like you, an Olympic ambition or an athletic ambition, then you will have achieved a lot just by that.
Yeah, again, it's a part of a contribution. I think Paris 2024 won't solve this problem of sedentarity in the world, but we need to do something, and we need to propose solutions with the national federations, with the state, and the public authorities. We need to use, again, the magic of the games to inspire and give the desire to do more sport. So we worked with the World Health Organization also, and we know that we need to be in good shape to do sports every day. So that's why we launched this program at the primary school, where people will be proposed to do 30 minutes of sport every day. It means not a lot, but it's not the case today. So we launch a dynamic, and we really hope that it will leave a strong legacy after the Games.
Just briefly, let's talk about budget. You mentioned there was a lot of private involvement from the private sector. Can you give us an idea of the split between how much the government is paying and how much is coming from private enterprise?
Yeah, well, the budget of the Organizing Committee of Paris 2024 is around 4 billion of euro, and more than 97% of those 4 billion is coming from the private fund. So it's really a private funded organization. The public money is more invested in the infrastructure program, where again we have 95% of existing venues. So that's why that was really our strategy, to reduce the risk of having an increase of public money involved into the games. And the model so far is definitely that the games are able to finance themselves. So we have 1/3 coming from the TV, 1/3 coming from the ticketing program, and 1/3 coming from the companies, the private companies who are funding the organizing committee. And again, we have maintained the rhythm of securing our budget. At the end of last year, we were at 2/3 of our budget already secured.
Tremendous.
So we are still very confident about our ability to finance the games by the private funding.
So no sleepless nights for the mayor then over budgets?
No, so again, so far after 4 years, and every year we have this careful look of the budget.
I tell you something for nothing. The budget worries start in the last year, like any business. But let me just read to you a quote from Sebastian Coe, the Olympic double medalist and organizer of London. He said to me, he absolutely understands the nervousness of any community staging the Olympic Games since COVID as well. Any nerves left for you, Tony? You're a competitor at the highest level, so probably not.
Exactly. I really built on my past of athlete, and I know that the success of Paris 2024 will be really until the last minute. So, of course, it's a marathon that you have to run at the speed of the 100 meters every day, but we need to keep really the resistance till the end, because I learned from my past career that you have to be at the rendezvous on the good date, and this is not at the training where you have to be the best. You have to be the best when the days are very important. So of course, we are very concentrated on our task, and there are a lot of difficulties and challenges. But again, I'm really satisfied so far with the team. We are, I think, doing a good job, and we are right on track.
And lastly, Tony, you're promising a climate-friendly Games. How important is a Games to you being climate-friendly?
I think this is key, again, for the field of sport to be contributors of this global participation and evolution of a new ecological model to deliver the game. So we took all the different parameters where there is a big impact in terms of infrastructures, and we reduce a lot, again, the model for having a 95% of existing venues. We look at the transport, and all our competition venues will be served by public transport, and that's also a good way to reduce the carbon footprint. And then on the daily basis on the food model, for example, we have a food vision to have also a reduction of the impact. We really try to be aggressive in a way to maintain the ambition and the objective of reducing by half the carbon footprint of the Games.
Tony Estanguet, many thanks to you for joining us here on The Agenda.
Thank you very much. Goodbye.
Don't forget you can watch everything from past Agenda episodes and find additional exclusive content on our website, cgtn.com/Europe, or on our YouTube channel. And of course, you can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram, @CGTN Europe. Coming up on a future agenda, solar, wind, tidal, and nuclear, the global plans to exploit Earth's natural power. But for now, from me, Stephen Cole, and all the Agenda team here in London, it's goodbye.